as a product designer, I am really interested in the way that we make things and the way that we make things changes the way markets have access to those things. So let's imagine that this screen is sort of the global marketplace, right? If you're lucky today, or maybe back in the day, you would have got things custom made by small scale manufacturers in limited runs. Now, most of us have to be content with sort of larger scale, cheaper things, but you'll notice that they kind of generalize the market, right? All of those blobs are a little less specific. Maybe they fit what we need a little less specifically. Now, I don't make any judgments about which way is better. I think there are benefits to each, low prices, good fit for what you want. But I do think one thing is clear, that there is lots of room between the big guy and the little guy for a middle guy. And this is who Eric is talking about, right? This is that thick part of the pyramid of need in the marketplace. The group that I think is making the most progress, the most interesting progress toward being this middle guy is makers, right? Simply put, makers are people distributed around the world that are creating things that the market can't create for them, either because it won't or it just can't. So let me give you some examples. Some of these things might seem trivial, right? This is a product made by Evil Mad Scientist Laboratories here in the States that is a pen plotter for eggs, right? And they sell actually quite a lot of them. Imagine trying to buy one of these at Best Buy. Probably not going to happen. Something maybe a little more grave or important is the Dodo case, developed by two makers in San Francisco through the tech shop in Palo Alto. This product, the Rolls-Royce of iPad cases, apparently Obama even has one, this product single-handedly saved a 50-year-old bookbinding company in San Francisco and allowed them to add 10 new jobs at the height of the recession in 2008. And then, going crazy wide, right, Amy's crew of Afghanis who are rewiring their cities using, cobbled together Wi-Fi that rivals the stuff that they can get from us is incredible, okay? So makers are awesome. Makers are obviously great. But they're not very well supported, right? And the reason for that is that the tools that industry has developed over the last 200 years are geared toward giant capital and giant spaces. And makers are smaller. They're more flexible. They need different tools. That's where I come in. My lab, the Humblefactory, is a design laboratory, and we develop tools and materials that assist makers in their work around the world. Let me give you some examples. So it might be a new material, like Suzanne Lee, an artist in the UK, developed this bacterial cellulose fabric that you grow like kombucha, right? Or it might be something like the RepRap 3D printer that can not only print its own upgrades, but print most of the parts that you need to make a new printer. It also might be design frameworks, new ways of putting together materials, like the Skin, Skeleton, Guts design framework that I developed, which allows small groups of people to share open source consumer electronics and remix them so that this watch can become a pollution monitor or a pedometer or sort of whatever you want. Now, I want to connect all of these different ideas that makers are doing, and so I've developed a platform called Alchematter, which is a web-based community that lets them share material ideas, lets them share tools, techniques, all of the things they need to build a rich conversation about what's possible. With this conversation, they can identify what needs to be made in new technologies and what is possible to make so that they can apply it in their local context. Now, I'm interested to see what makers could do if they individually were backed up by a global cloud-based sort of skunkworks, right? Like, oh, it would be so cool. Why do I care about this? Why is that a good thing? Why is that necessary? Because someday, a maker might make you smile. Someday, a maker might save your job. Someday, a maker might save your city. Maybe someday you'll be a maker. Thanks very much.